Now that we know how to find different side lengths based on the trig ratios, we need to go ahead and find different angle measures based on our trig ratios. So just as a refresher, we have SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so we know that sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Just as a refresher, hypotenuse is always opposite of the right angle. The opposite side is based on what angle measure you're trying to find. Okay, and we're going opposite of that. Adjacent is how the angle is formed. It's the side that forms the angle, but is not the hypotenuse. Okay, so let's go through some examples that are dealing with this. That's theta, by the way, in case you were wondering. So looking at this, I've got 16, 10, and a side I don't know, but I'm looking for theta. So the first thing I always do is I write my SOHCAHTOA down and determine which one I need to use. So when I'm looking at this, first question I always ask myself, do I have a hypotenuse? Yes, I have a hypotenuse. So it can't be tangent. The theta and the other side length that is not the hypotenuse, aka the 10, are right next to each other. That means that they are adjacent. So I'm going to be using the cosine. So with this, I have the cosine of theta equals, what's my adjacent side? My adjacent side is 10. My hypotenuse is 16. All right, so what do I do now? You actually take the theta and the 10 over 16 and flip-flop spots. When you do that, you take it to the -1. So it's cosine -1, 10 over 16 equals theta. Now some of you are probably thinking, okay, what's the -1? That's really an inverse. And what you do with this on your calculator, you have sine, cosine, and tangent. In order to get that -1 there, you're going to hit second cosine and then type in 10 over 16. Now remember that you want to make sure that your calculator mode is in degree. So when I type that in, theta equals 51.3. All right, let's look at another one. All right, again, I write down SOHCAHTOA every time, so I remember which one I'm trying to use. So my theta here is in the corner. Do I have a hypotenuse? And the answer is no. I don't have a hypotenuse, so I know for sure that I'm using tangent. So I have tangent theta equals, the opposite of theta is 18. That means the adjacent must be 7. So I'm going to go ahead and do the inverse of this. And just plug it right into my calculator and solve. So once I solve that, theta equals 68.7. And for the last example, go ahead and solve this. Again, the first thing I do is write down SOHCAHTOA. Do I have a hypotenuse? The answer is yes. So I know right away it's not tangent. Theta and 8 are opposite, so I know I'm using the sine. I'm sure you guys probably guessed that anyway because I've used cosine and tangent already. So I have the sine of theta equals 8 over 12. I'm going to flip-flop that and put an inverse, which equals my theta. Theta then equals 41.8 degrees.